Good morning students. Today we are going to see about the geography unit 2 globe. Students, what is globe? Are you remember 5th class? Very good. Globe is a model of earth. Let's see the lesson. Learning objectives. Understand the 4 cardinal directions. Learn about the shape of the earth. Understand about the model of the earth, the globe. The significance of lines of latitudes and longitudes. Standard time is calculated around the world. Let's see one by one. Students, what is directions? Very good. There are 4 directions: north, south, east, west. Take your ball. Bottom of the side is a north side. Opposite side, south. Very good. Easily identify for the 3 side. You identify for it. North means easily identify for the remaining 3 sides. North, south, east, west. Very good. The directions on the ground are always shown with respect to the north. If we know the north, then it is easy to find the other directions, namely south, east and west. These are 4 cardinal directions. We know that the sun rises in the east and sunset in the west. If we stand facing the sun in the morning, then we face the east. The west is towards our back. The left hand points towards the north and the right hand points towards the south. We should always keep this in mind. Next we see the globe. Globe is a model of the earth. We can't go personally and see how our earth is and each direction. We can't see. We are somewhere very least place. We are on earth's surface, the small place. You can see that the earth is like a ball, a spherical in a shape. That means kola vadivam. What is the shape of the earth? Spherical shape. Very good. How do you think people stand on it? How do stand on the earth? Place some standing toy people on different parts of the globe. It may that the person at the lower part is standing upside down or that the person in the middle might. We never fall off the earth because the earth like a powerful magnet. The earth like a powerful magnet which pulls us towards it. In fact, we can only fall on the earth, but never off the earth. The earth moves around the sun. It also rotates from the west to east on its axis at an inclination of 23.5 degrees. The globe is also inclined at an angle of 23.5 degrees. The axis is an imaginary line. It is not actually found on the earth. An interesting thing about the shape of the earth is that if we keep traveling from one place in one direction without turning back, we come back to the same place. Try this on the globe. Start from any point and keep going in the same line and see if you come back to the starting point. Next we see the scientist. Scientists in ancient period in India and Europe had figured out that the earth was like a ball or sphere. Therefore, later around 1492 CE means common era, sailors like Columbus, an Italian explorer, set out from Europe with the hope of reaching India. Next we see the lines on the globe. There are imaginary lines which are drawn on the globe horizontally and vertically to find a location and calculate distance and time. These imaginary lines are called lines of latitudes and longitudes. Next we see the latitudes. The imaginary lines which are drawn horizontally on east to west direction on the earth are called the lines or parallels. Parallels means இணையாக. Parallels of latitudes. The 0 degree line of latitude which divides the earth into two halves is known as the equator. From the equator parallels, for example, rail track. Parallel lines are drawn towards the north and south poles at equal intervals. The latitudinal extent between 1 degree line of latitude on the earth is 111 kilometers. Since the earth is geoid, geoid shape means earth shape. Geoid shaped, the length of the lines of latitude decreases from the equator towards the south and north poles. South and north poles are 90 degree. The 90 degree north and south poles are not found as lines but as points. The lines of latitude that are drawn horizontally between the equator and the north pole are called northern latitudes, and those which are found between the equator, that equator line is 0 degree, and the south pole are called southern latitudes. The lines of latitudes consist of 89 parallels. Parallels means, for best example, railway track. இணையா போகும் இல்லைங்களா ரயில் ட்ராக்ல அந்த பாலங்கள். In the northern hemisphere and 89 parallels in the southern hemisphere. One at the equator and two poles are found as points. Totally there are 181 parallels found on the earth. How many parallels on the totally? 181 parallels found on the earth. Next we see the hemisphere. Hemisphere means half of the circle. North hemisphere and south hemisphere. North hemisphere, the area of the earth found between the equator 0 degree and the north pole. 90 degree north is called the northern hemisphere. Next we see the southern hemisphere. The area of the earth from the equator 0 degree to the south pole. 90 degree south is called the southern hemisphere. The location of any country or place is based on these divisions of the hemispheres. Based on the latitude extended in which hemisphere in India located? Which hemisphere in India located? Very good. India located in the north hemisphere. Next we see the important lines of latitude. Latitude is our imaginary lines, means there are no or actual line or globe on the earth, just located places of the globe. It was prepared by people, geologists. Here now first we are discuss about the important lines of latitude. Generally, the horizontal lines or the globe are called latitude. Actually, latitudes are circles. Why these are circles? The around to the globe. So, these are called circle. What are the important latitude of globe? There are 7 important latitudes. 90 degree N is a north pole, 66.5 degree N is a Arctic circle, 23.5 degree N is a Tropic of Cancer, 0 degree is a equator. Why it is called 0 degree equator? In dividing the earth in two or in globe, two equal halves due to that called as the equator. 23.5 degrees south, Tropic of Capricorn. 66.5 degree S, Antarctic Circle. 90 degree S is a South Pole. The earth rotates on its axis an inclination of 23.5 degree. It also revolves around the sun. While rotating based on the angle at which the sun's rays fall on the earth, certain lines of latitude gain significance. Generally, the measuring the locating with a latitudes are degrees, minutes, seconds. It's very clearly latitudes again. 90 degree N is a North Pole. 66.5 degree N is a Arctic Circle. 23.5 degree N is a Tropic of Cancer. 0 degree is the equator. 23.5 degrees south is a Tropic of Capricorn. 66.5 degree S is a Antarctic Circle. 90 degrees south is a South Pole. 0 degree N and S, 23.5 degree N and S lines of latitudes are called low latitudes. 23.5 degree N and S, 66.5 degree N and S line latitudes are called middle latitudes. 66.5 degree N and S, 90 degree N and S lines of latitudes are called high latitudes. The sun's rays do not fall equally on all parts of the earth. They fall vertically over the equator and slanting towards the poles. Thus, all the places on earth do not have the same amount of temperature. Based on the amount of heat received from the sun, the lines of latitude help in dividing the earth into different climate zones. There are three important climate zones: torrid zone, temperate zone, freeze zone. அதிக வெப்பநிலை, மிதமான வெப்பநிலை மற்றும் குளிர்நிலை. Torrid zone. The region from the equator towards the Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degree north, and the Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5 degree south, is called the torrid zone. The sun's rays fall vertically over this region and the average temperature is very high. The average temperature is very high. Hence, this region is known as the torrid zone. அதிக வெப்பநிலைன்னு சொல்லுவோம். Temperate zone, மிதமான வெப்பநிலை. From the Tropic of Cancer, 23.5 degree north, to the Arctic Circle, 66.5 degree north, and from the Tropic of Capricorn, 23.5 degree south, to the Antarctic Circle, 66.5 degree south. The sun's rays fall slantingly. Moderate temperature prevails in this region. Hence, this region is called temperate zone. Next, we see the freezed zone. From the Arctic Circle, 66.5 degree north, to the North Pole, 90 degree north, and from the Antarctic Circle, 66.5 degree south, to the South Pole, 90 degrees south. The sun's rays fall further inclined throughout the year. The temperature is very low. Hence, this region is known as freezed zone. Longitudes are imaginary lines. Means there are no actual lines or globe on the earth, just located place of the globe. It was prepared by people, geologists. Here now we see the longitudes. Discuss about the longitudes. Longitudes, the imaginary lines drawn vertically connecting the North Pole and South Pole, are called lines or meridian of longitude. These lines of longitude are seen as semicircle. These lines of longitudes are seen semicircle. The 0 degree line of longitude is called the prime meridian. There are 180 lines of longitude towards the east and west from the prime meridian. So there are totally 360 lines of longitude. These lines converge at the poles. The 180 degree west and 180 degree east line of longitude are the same line. The lines of longitude that are found between the prime meridian and the 180 degree east line of longitude are called eastern longitudes, and the lines of longitude that are found between the prime meridian 0 degree and the 180 degree west line of longitude are called western longitudes. Two opposite meridians form a great circle. Next we see the eastern hemisphere, western hemisphere. Eastern hemisphere, the part of the earth between the 0 degree line of longitude and the 180 degree east line of longitude is known as the eastern hemisphere. Next we see the western hemisphere, the part of the earth from 0 degree line of longitude to 180 degree west line of longitude is called as western hemisphere. Next we see the significant lines of longitude. Greenwich meridian. The Royal Astronomical Observatory is located at Greenwich near London in England. According to the International Meridian Conference held in 1884 in Washington, D.C. in the USA, all nations agreed on choosing the Greenwich meridian as the international standard meridian 0 degree. This line of longitude is called the prime meridian, and it is also known as the Greenwich meridian because it passes through Greenwich. Next we see the international date line. The 180 degree line of longitude has been fixed as the international date line, drawn on the Pacific Ocean between Alaska and Russia through Bering Strait. If a person crosses this line from the west to east, he loses a day. On the other hand, when he crosses from the east to west, he gains a day. Paused on this, the date is fixed for different countries or regions of the world. The international date line is not straight. If the line is drawn straight, two places in the same country would have different dates. So the international date line is found zigzag in certain places to avoid confusion. Next we see the local time. When the sun is overhead on a particular line of longitude, it is 12 noon at all the places located on that line of longitude. This is called local time. The sun is overhead on a line of longitude only once in a day. So the local time differs for every line of longitude. When the sun is overhead the Greenwich meridian at 12 noon, it is the local time of that place. The world time is calculated by this standard line of longitude. It is known as the Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, short form of Greenwich Mean Time. Next we see the standard time. Local time is calculated when the sun is overhead at noon. Many lines of longitudes may pass through a country. Countries may or may not observe a common time. The standard time of the country or a part of it is calculated keeping a particular meridian as a standard one. The meridian are selected in a multiples of 15 degree or 7.5 degree. It is done in such a way that the variation of standard time from the Greenwich is expressed either as 1 hour or half an hour. The longitudinal extent of India is from 68 degree 7 east to 97 degree 25 east. as many as 29 lines of longitude pass through India. Having 29 standard time is not logical. Hence, 82.5 degree east line of longitude is observed as the prime meridian to calculate the Indian Standard Time. Time zones. The world has 24 time zones. Some countries have a great longitudinal extent, so they have more than one standard time. Example, Russia has 7 time zones. Thank you, students.